Okay, so are you ready to take a deep dive into, like, yourself?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys sent us this personality test, and it's from the Spiritual Seek,
Interesting.
and it's all about figuring out just how naive you really are.
Naive.
Yeah, naive.
Oh.
But it's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's all about, like, how much you trust the world around you,
I see.
how you see things,
Oh, okay.
and how you approach information,
Right.
and even how you read people.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the Spiritual Seek actually describes it as like a mind that is devoid of malice and evil,
Oh, wow.
which is kind of refreshing, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Like maybe a
Yeah.
little naivete isn't always a bad thing.
I agree with that.
So this mini test is a series of 6 statements,
Okay.
and we're going to go through each one together,
Great.
unpack the ideas behind them,
Love it.
and you can see which ones kind of resonate with you.
Awesome.
Okay. So the first statement is people rarely misbehave on purpose.
Okay.
What do you think about that one?
I think that definitely shows an optimistic view of human nature.
Yeah.
It's like you're believing that people are inherently good
Yeah.
and that they act with positive intentions.
Yeah, it's like assuming the best in everyone.
Totally.
Which can be a beautiful way
Yeah.
to move through the world.
For sure.
But is it realistic?
Right. That's the big question.
Yeah.
It's important to acknowledge that while optimism is great, not everybody's coming from that good place.
Right.
Sometimes people act selfishly or even with malicious intent.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that balance between having hope in humanity, but also realizing that people are complex.
Yeah, and recognizing that not everybody's going to have the best intentions.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
statement number 2.
Let's hear it.
If an expert says so, I trust them 100%.
The allure of expertise.
Yeah.
I mean, we're taught from such a young age to respect those who have knowledge and put our faith in them.
Right.
But should we always blindly trust experts?
I mean, it's tempting.
Right.
Especially when we're dealing with stuff that we just don't understand.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't question
Yeah.
heart surgeon in the middle of surgery.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But even with those experts,
Yeah.
there are nuances.
Right.
Like, they can be wrong.
Yeah.
They could be biased. And sometimes different experts can totally disagree with each other.
Yeah, that's true. So how do we navigate that?
I think that's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
We shouldn't reject all expert advice, but we should be thoughtful about it. So think about their background.
Right.
Do they have the right credentials?
Okay.
What's their track record?
Yeah.
And look out for biases.
Well, that's good.
Is someone paying them to say this?
Right, right. So expertise is valuable.
Yes.
But we should always use our own critical thinking skills.
Exactly.
Okay, statement number 3.
Okay.
If television says so, it is certainly true.
Oh, this is media literacy 101.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Not everything on TV is real.
Right.
Or an accurate reflection of reality.
No.
Sometimes it feels like it's all about
Yeah.
grabbing your attention or entertaining you.
Yeah.
Even if that means bending the truth a little.
Yeah. Or a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're bombarded with information from every direction.
Yeah.
So we really have to filter that critically and think about the motivations behind the message. Like, is this an objective news report?
Right.
Or is it an ad trying to sell you something?
Right. And even within news, like different networks
For sure.
can present the same story in totally different ways.
Yeah.
So listener, next time you're watching TV,
Yeah.
think about what's the message here
Yeah.
and who's trying to convince me of this.
Right.
Okay, statement number 4.
Okay.
When someone plays a joke on me, I often fall for it.
Oh.
Ooh, this one's a little personal.
Okay.
I've definitely fallen for some trash.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that can be a sign of being trusting,
Yeah, I think so too.
which isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Right.
It means you're giving people the benefit of the doubt, which is really important in relationships.
Absolutely. But there's another side to that, right?
Totally.
Like if you're constantly falling for jokes, maybe you're missing some social cues.
That's a good point. It's like that balance again.
Yeah.
Being open is good,
Yeah.
but it's also important to think about people's intentions.
Yeah.
Is it a harmless joke or is it
Yes.
something else?
Right. Okay, getting a little philosophical now. Statement number 5.
Okay.
Democracy empowers the people to decide everything. Sounds good, but is it really that simple?
Well, democracy at its core
Yeah.
is about the citizens having a voice in how they're governed.
Okay.
But it's a lot more complex than just people deciding everything.
Right, because we elect representatives to make decisions for us.
Right.
And those decisions don't always reflect what every single person wants.
Right. And that brings up some questions. Like, what are the limits of majority rule?
Right.
Do minorities get overlooked?
That's true.
And how do we make sure everyone's heard?
That's a really good point. Okay, last statement.
Okay.
People are 99% good, and honest wickedness is the exception.
Okay.
This feels like it's related to that first one.
Right.
About misbehavior.
Definitely. They're both looking at whether people are fundamentally good.
Right.
Or if there's a darker side.
Yeah. And this one gives us an ever.
Yeah. 99%.
99% good.
Is that realistic, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to believe it, but history shows a more complicated picture.
It does. We've seen so much kindness, but also terrible things.
It's true.
So it's not about labeling people as just good or bad.
Yeah.
We're more complex than that.
Yeah. We all have both light and darkness in us.
Yeah. So what percentage would you give
That's a good question.
to the balance of good and bad in the world?
I don't know. What about you?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It's tough.
No right answer.
Yeah.
It's just something to think about.
Right.
And these statements for the spiritual seek, they're not meant to give us answers.
Right.
They're meant to make us think.
They're meant to make us reflect and challenge ourselves.
Yeah. So think about which ones resonated with you and which ones maybe challenged your thinking. Are you more likely to trust or to question?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Do you see the best in people or you're more cautious?
Right.
Yeah. There's no right way to be.
Exactly.
This is about understanding how you see the world and how that affects your interactions with people and information.
Totally.
And in a world full of information, that self-awareness and that ability to think critically are really valuable.
Could not agree more.
Yeah. So keep thinking critically.
Yeah.
And keep questioning everything.
That's right.
Even yourself.
Yeah. Challenge your own assumptions.
Yeah.
That's how we grow.
All right. Until next time.
See you then.